Hello and welcome. So in today's video I'm going to talk about the life of Eva Braun, and in particular I'm really going to talk about her life, but her life with Adolf Hitler. And so the two of them, they met in 1929, October 29. Eva was then working as an assistant to Heinrich Hoffmann, who was Hitler's photographer and someone who'd known Hitler from way back. And her role was to sort of serving customers, but we also know that she did help with photography as well, and particularly in developing photographs. And she later, in my opinion, became a very good cinematographer. A lot of what we have is from Eva's work, and I'll say this, that she was better cinematographer than I am, and I've got equipment from nearly 100 years later. So she's only 17 though when they meet, and he's 40, and he was introduced as Herr Wolf. Now, he was relatively famous by this time. I mean, whereas his party wasn't as big as it was to become later, he must have, as a significant minority party, or smaller party operator, I'm sure he was relatively well known. I don't know, of course, when she discovered that he wasn't Herr Wolf, but someone else. In September 1931, Geli Raubal, who was the Hitler's niece, or half-niece, she killed herself in Hitler's apartment. Now, we do know that Hitler took Eva out before then, and because we know this because of a letter. And in one of the theories, which incidentally I totally reject, but one of the theories of the reasons for the suicide of Geli Raubal is that she discovered a letter from Eva where it said, "Dear Herr Hitler, thanks very much for the taking me out. It was a really lovely evening, and I wait with impatience for our next meeting. Yours sincerely, Eva Braun." Or words to that effect. I'm just doing that from memory. And what's clear is that maybe Hitler was then on the rebound, so to speak. He must have been emotionally quite upset. He did actually, after the suicide of Geli, he ran away, and they couldn't find him. So the public couldn't find him for a few days, and so he escaped. So his presidential campaign, which he was trying to get running, that sort of was put on pause for a while. Now, we do know that Hitler began to see Eva more frequently, although this was kept an absolute secret, and not a surprise really, because after what had happened with Geli, when this got even international coverage, but it was a scandal. There's one magazine called Fanfare, and that showed that was set headlines about his niece, suggesting his niece and he were involved in some sexual relationship, and that the rest of the party was just homosexuals and bachelors. And so this was not the sort of publicity that Hitler actually wanted. And certainly, I don't think it would do his image all that much good. I would have thought anyway. Maybe it didn't bother people who would like to vote for him. In August 1932, Eva attempted to commit suicide for the first time. She shot herself in the neck or in the chest. It's not very clear to me. And that was using her father's pistol. And this, it would seem, was a way of trying to get Hitler to notice her. And so Hitler's response is to give her a little bit more of his time. But clearly it wasn't enough, because in May of 1935, now Hitler is, by this time, he's the dictator, he's in charge, and Eva takes an overdose of sleeping pills because Hitler's really too busy to actually deal with her. Now, if I look at the timing of the first suicide attempt, you've got August 1932, Hitler's party in July became suddenly the largest party in the Reichstag, and it had about nearly 38% of the vote, which is really very, very large. This is at this moment, Hitler must have felt as though he was on the verge of a breakthrough, and so really now this is the time of the political machinations. Hitler's trying to get himself in with the president, although the president as such is still resisting. And had it not been for the corruption scandal related to the Eastern aid, then maybe Hitler would have stayed that way. He would never have been got in. But as they needed some way of making this corruption scandal secret, then these conservatives, these wealthy landowners around Hindenburg, persuaded Hindenburg that he had to appoint Hitler Chancellor. And then through the resort to legal machinations and violence, Hitler becomes dictator. Now, as far as Eva's concerned, right, so in August 1935, Hitler's now dictator, his position is relatively secure, and then she decides that she's going to actually kill herself. But I mean, trying to do it with pills, in my opinion, shows that, she probably didn't really want to. Doing it with a gun, of course, is something different. Now, once Hitler's power was absolute, the relationship with Eva moves to his mountain retreat, Obersalzberg. And there, Eva was a hidden hostess. So in 1936, she moves in, although people don't really know who she is. Is she a secretary? What does she do? I think the staff realised. It's hard to say, isn't it, now with the benefit of hindsight. And in 1938, Hitler writes his first will. I've done a video on this, the first will and testament of Adolf Hitler. And in this, Eva Braun gets a lifelong amount of money. And so this clearly acknowledges her for the first time as his companion. Of course, the will was kept secret. Now, during World War II, Eva lives in a life of luxury, isolation, and sanitation, I would say, as well. So what does she do? She's swimming, skiing, filming home movies, going out on trips, while tens of millions of people are in a war and terrible things are happening. However, there was the royal wedding, if I may use that phrase, of the Nazi Party, which happened in June 1944. And it's Eva's own sister, Gretel, who marries Hermann Fegelein, who is well up in Himmler's hierarchy, and as she is the sister of the bride, she can then move up in Hitler's official functions, and it gives her access to Hitler's public life. I've done a video on Gretel as well, and I've done a video on Fegelein's brother, but not on Hermann Fegelein yet. Now, the big part of her life actually though comes at the end of the war. So it's in the final collapse. Now, Eva was in Berlin, but she went back home. But then she returns, and the Soviet armies are, she came on the 15th of April, so by the certainly within 5 days, artillery could be heard, and she behaves quite wonderfully. She sort of dressed impeccably. Her makeup was very good, according to what other people said. I wasn't there myself, and that's what. And so, on the 29th of April, 1945, Hitler and Eva, they're married in a small civil ceremony And after years of being hidden, of being a nobody, she is able to write Eva B. And then she realizes she's written the wrong name. She crosses that B out and writes Hitler. And less than 40 hours later, their married life went so wonderfully for them that they decided to commit suicide together. And now Eva takes a pill, Hitler, a pill, and shoots himself at the same time. I want to make sure he did it properly. And then they are burned together. Their bodies are burned together. Probably, I know there's a theory that they ended up in another part of the garden. Although I reject this because I don't think there's enough witnesses to it. But whatever. And then, assuming it was them that got burned, they end up together, being burnt and dug up several times until April 1970. Then, when they've been buried in the NKVD, or the KGB as it became, compound in Magdeburg, they're dug up again, burnt again, because at that moment the KGB was due to hand it over to the Stasi, and they didn't want the Stasi to find the bodies of Hitler and his entourage. And then they take it to a bridge, Schweinebrücke, just outside of Magdeburg. You can see what it looks like today. I went there and I filmed it. And when I was there and I filmed it, I told people what happened there. And I could tell that none believed it. I probably thought I was totally crazy going all that way to film something. Anyway, that apart, she ends up spending eternity, her ashes with his, and those of the Goebbels family and Generals Krebs and Berghof. Anyway, good. Right, I hope you found it interesting. Thanks very much for watching. Done other videos on psychology of the relationship as well, and the so that might be interesting. I upload every day at 2000 hours my time, Central European time. Live in Poland and in Germany, and this I do longer videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, so you can see longer things like this on those days, but sometimes I change this, so if you subscribe you'll know when I'm doing it. I also offer membership on the channel. Membership has currently there's more than 800 videos which are members only, so it costs £5, €6, $6. If you're interested in that sort of thing, then I hope you'll take that, because that will help me to be able to fund what I'm actually doing. And so I do videos where I actually go to the places, and I do video and go to research and archives and things of this nature. So that's unfortunately that all costs money. So any assistance is grateful. I'm grateful for. Thank you very much, and bye for now.